This live stream is for the purpose of this, why this game has Denuvo Anti-tamper DRM. Well, this is not a new thing. Company actually uses whole sort of DRM. We have seen always online DRM in EA games and other multiplayer games as well. But please do not use Denuvo. Well, we cannot expect anything else from Gotham Knights now. They have actually added Denuvo DRM, a very heavy DRM which is CPU intensive. And basically guys, this is not a good thing. Denuvo DRM, when Denuvo DRM gets added into a game, the performance of the game just degrades over time. And secondly guys, Denuvo DRM we have seen in previous games like Resident Evil Village, it hampers the performance of the game. Yes, it is a very secure DRM, but on the other hand, I think they should have gone with some sort of online DRM, their own DRM. That should have been a good thing. Basically, Denuvo is now used in this game, and now guys, I think the system requirements of this game because of Denuvo will be on the higher side. Just see this, they have not released the system requirements. Can anybody please tell me which company does like this? There are a whole lot of games, even the NFS game which is coming in the month of December has the system requirements released. The Spider-Man Miles Morales game, whose date probably we do not know right now, has its system requirements released long ago. So why these companies are not releasing the system requirements for PC users? On the one hand, they say that there will be no microtransactions, but on the other hand, they use Denuvo and they do not release the system requirement until the last date of the game. And thirdly, basically they are not even notifying us about system requirements, but also they are telling us to pre-order the game. They are asking us to pre-order their games. They are just releasing trailers and everything. They are lifting up the embargo and allowing YouTubers, some of the YouTubers, they are sponsored YouTubers, to actually make a video on the particular game and allowing us to upload the gameplay walkthrough part 1. So they are literally provoking all the gamers to pre-order the game, hell, without even knowing the system requirements, specifically for PC users. Basically, how PC users, how budget PC users can pre-order this game without even knowing the system requirements? Suppose I have a GTX 960 and I get very excited by the gameplay walkthroughs and trailers. I pre-order the game and then they release the system requirements, and suppose they say that the minimum system requirement starts from GTX 1050 Ti. Then what would be the case of mine? How would I just say that hey, my purchase is justified? I would then have to return the game because the game will be having performance issues. So guys, what do you guys think about the Denuvo thing basically, and do you think that it's very good to actually implement these sort of DRM? Please let me know in the comment section and the live chat. And now I will gonna be showing one more game, Call of Duty. So there has been a long time guys, we have seen a Call of Duty game on Steam. So as this game is on Steam now, we can expect some sort of transparency over here. So basically earlier Call of Duty games had always online DRM. They were protected by some sort of Blizzard activation thing, but now it is available on Steam. And now I think that still they have not mentioned anything about any sort of DRM over here. So if this game goes DRM free, that will be very good news for all of the gamers. Yes, they have an anti-cheat engine which has been already exploited in the Modern Warfare 2 beta, but now I think they have not mentioned anything about Denuvo. So I'm certain that this thing will not have Denuvo, but we cannot be 100% sure, as just like Techland did recently when Dying Light 2 was launched. They literally mentioned that their game will be having Denuvo DRM just prior to 1 or 2 days of the launch. They did not notify all of the fans, all of the gamers who pre-ordered the game, that this game has Denuvo. I think companies should maintain a transparency that the day they release the launch trailer, the day they actually gave out the information to the gamers about their game, the promotional stuff, they should also let us know whether the game will be having Denuvo or any sort of DRM, followed by the system requirements on that same day, so that people and all of the gamers who are trying to pre-order the game can make a unbiased decision basically. So this we can see that people are forming a whole lot of biases due to the implementation of Denuvo, which company announced very suddenly. So what do you guys think about the implementation of Denuvo in this game? And particularly if you ask me what the hell Denuvo does to the game, we have literally seen guys in a whole lot of games how bad Denuvo, how badly Denuvo hampers the performance of a specific and of a particular game. And if I just show you one more game, we have already talked about the Modern Warfare 2, that there is nothing written over here about the DRM basically. But if we just go to the Gotham Knights and we see that it is basically incorporating a third-party DRM, which is Denuvo Anti-tamper. Well, we have basically seen games like Resident Evil Village, which will be coming as a DLC in the Ethan's Winter Saga. It will also be having a Denuvo DRM. When Resident Evil Village was launched on May 7th, 2021, the game literally had Denuvo, which had whole lot of performance issues, even on higher tier graphic cards. Let's search for the Winter's Expansion DLC and let's see whether that DLC also has the same DRM or not. Resident Evil Village. So here it is, Resident Evil Village, Winter's Expansion. So it's loading at the moment, and until then you guys could let me know your doubts, comments and queries about the malpractices company do. Basically, they try to hide some things from gamers and then they notify them at the end when the game is basically about to launch in a few days. That's the same thing, guys. That's actually not a good thing. Certainly, when gamers pre-order the game, they spend their hard-earned money on the game, and companies try to just hide some minute things, and in the end, who suffers is, you all know, the gamers. Probably they will gonna be releasing system requirements about 1 week prior to the release date. Still there are 2 weeks left, still there are 13 days left until this game launches. Basically, I'm talking about Gotham Knights over here. It is launching very soon, so let's hope. Basically, even if it is, we all know now it is coming with Denuvo, well, let's hope this time the Denuvo which is used in this game will not be hampering the performance. We can only hope, because we cannot be certain that Denuvo will not be hampering the performance, as we have seen multiple times in the past, even with Village, even with Valhalla. Even Hardware Unboxed made a video in which he has literally told all of the people that the performance to graphics ratio is just not at all good in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Similarly, Resident Evil Village was a very graphically intensive game. It had very clear graphics, and the performance of the game was stuttery due to Denuvo implementation. However, Empress cracked the game. A hacker named as Empress, who is specialized in cracking Denuvo games, she comes up, cracks Denuvo, and then shows all of us that when a certain DRM Denuvo code is not being executed, the performance of the game is no longer stuttery at all. It is lag free. After 6 months of Resident Evil Village release, the game was properly fixed. There were no more lagging issues. So the Denuvo DRM can certainly get the lagging issues, basically in Denuvo DRM can certainly get fixed, as we have seen after the 6 months update of Resident Evil Village. So let's see that the Winter's Expansion DLC do not have major issues. So please let me know what do you guys think about this DRM. And let me just change one more setting, and let me just go over here. So here we go, guys. Here we are over Resident Evil Village, and just change one more setting. So here we are. So it shows now clearly, guys, that Resident Evil Village is also incorporating a third party anti-cheat DRM, which is Denuvo. So incorporates a third party DRM, Denuvo Anti-tamper, 5 different PC within a day machine activation limit. So they have also added an activation limit so that gamers cannot exploit this. Earlier, you guys know, many of the people used to do some sort of activation, basically. So now the Resident Evil franchise, specifically the Resident Evil Village, has limited the activation thing as well. So this is the base game of Resident Evil Village. Let's go to the Winter's Expansion. So here it is. Let's go back. There was a little typo. So this is the Winter's Expansion DLC, which is also having Denuvo. So again, I'm repeatedly asking you all gamers to give me your opinions about the implementation of Denuvo, because if a Denuvo DRM is implemented here, guys, we cannot see any incorporation of Denuvo. Let's see, single player downloadable content, as it is a downloadable content for the base game. I do not think that this will be having one another DRM, because I think it will be included with the base game itself. I think you cannot purchase it separately. I think it is also written over here that this content requires a base game Resident Evil Village in Steam in order to play. So yes, this is not having DRM over DRM, basically. So I think the Village DLC will be DRM free, but it does not mean that it will get cracked or something like that. There is also an existing DRM which is being used in the Resident Evil Village, the original game, basically the base game. And now let's quickly, guys, check more games out. I am very happy about the Need for Speed that the company has maintained its transparency, released the system requirements, basically. So let's quickly, guys, go over here and let's search for the game we were looking for. This game was Need for Speed Unbound. So they have literally, guys, released their system requirements and all sort of information that gamers need to know along with the trailer launch. So I like this thing. These days guys, companies are not maintaining transparency, they are not giving us full information, but Need for Speed Unbound has all sort of information over here, that it is incorporating a third-party DRM, EA online activation, and Origin client software installation and background use is required. So yes, there is a DRM. That's what I have said, guys. They could have used online DRM, the Gotham Knights game, but they did not use online DRM. They used Denuvo Anti-tamper, which is just bad DRM, guys. It is anti-consumer, it is anti-gamer, and I like think that if company is still thinking to use a DRM, they can use their own DRM. But the bad thing about the Need for Speed is that they have used the Origin client software, which is basically one more heavy DRM, which was used in older games like Assassin's Creed Origins, which was later cracked by CPY. But other than that, guys, yes, DRMs are taking place. The companies basically are taking anti-piracy measures so that their game cannot get pirated, and basically it requires a third-party account, EA account, in order to play. Along with the Steam account, you will need the online EA account. So basically companies do these type of things to actually hook the gamers in, make their accounts for their specific service so that they can just hooked up for a long time. So what do you guys think about these practices by companies? And now we will be actually taking a look at the system requirements of this game. So here's one thing, guys, this game is launching on December the 2nd, and the system requirements are already released. But the irony is that games like Gotham Knights, which is launching just 2 weeks ahead, basically they do not have the system requirements released yet. Same goes with the Call of Duty Modern Warfare game. Now let's take a look at Uncharted PC system requirements. Let's go over here. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection. I like basically the PlayStation port, guys. They do not have any sort of DRM. They are very lightweight in comparison to AAA titles who come with a DRM, whether it is Denuvo, whether it is Origin client software. I think let's go over here. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection. So yes, PlayStation ports. I always like PlayStation ports since God of War, the first major AAA PlayStation port we have all enjoyed at the beginning of this year. And now as this year comes to an end, we are going to be enjoying two more games, Spider-Man Miles Morales and this game, which will be Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection. Everybody loves Uncharted, even people who have not played the game. And the best thing about this game that it is neat and clean. It is not having any sort of DRM. And let's quickly go over here and let's see the system requirements. And also because of the DRM not getting used, we are not seeing any sort of major system requirements. The system requirements start from a GTX 960 as compared to the games which have Denuvo, whose system requirements are starting from GTX 1050 Ti. So this is one major thing. And secondly, the CPU requirement is not also very high. It is starting from a 4th generation Intel i5, so it is very good basically, in my very honest opinion. So a whole lot of games are coming this year, guys, and we all are excited for the upcoming titles. There are literally 5 or 6 major games coming this month only. One we all know, the Call of Duty. Second one is the Uncharted, which will be a PlayStation port. Third one is the Gotham Knights. We all know that. And other games are also coming. Resident Evil Village DLC, which will be concluding the Winters saga, what happened to Ethan Winters at the end of the Resident Evil game. So yes, a whole lot of things are actually happening in the gaming community, guys. And one more thing I want to tell you guys, the DRM basically. There is a channel in YouTube named as Overlord Gaming. He literally did a comparison. I will gonna be just showing you in a moment, in which he showed that how much performance difference Denuvo literally makes. If you just remove the Denuvo code, or if you just remove the Denuvo completely from the game, as we have seen in games like Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So the executable file size of a particular game file, for instance, a game is incorporated with Denuvo. For instance, let's take Assassin's Creed game, for instance, the Assassin's Creed Origins. When it was launched, it had Denuvo, and the executable file size was around 600 MB, and without Denuvo, when the Denuvo was removed, the executable file size was around 50% smaller, around 300 MB. I might be speaking the numbers wrong over here, but the whole thing is that when the Denuvo gets removed, it lightweights the game basically. The burden, the pressure from the existing game gets removed. So that's the thing, and that's why people prefer Denuvo free games. And a whole lot of gamers do not just prefer purchasing games who have Denuvo. I have recently made a video, and 2 of the people have commented that they will not be purchasing the game instantly, and they just do not like Denuvo, that's why. So if a particular game uses Denuvo, the sales of the game probably goes down a little bit, because gamers, specifically budget gamers, are always skeptical whether the game would just run fine or not. Even the Gotham Knights PC, basically, the first game prior release to the Gotham Knights, it was Batman Arkham Origins. It also used Denuvo DRM. So what do you guys think? Now please let me know in the comment section. And now guys, I will be going over here, and now I will be opening YouTube. Just wait a second. So now I will be actually opening the YouTube application to actually show you guys that how much of a difference that this thing makes, basically. As we have seen in the past, the games which are literally having DRM, a very heavy sort of DRM implementations, like Denuvo Anti-tamper, Origin client software, tend to hamper the performance of the game. Same goes with, probably same might go actually with this game which is having the Denuvo Anti-tamper DRM. So let's quickly take a little break, and we will be back very soon. And until then guys, please let us know via the live chat, are you guys excited? So yes guys, we are back now once again, and let me just quickly open my video capture device, and I will be adding it over here, and then we will gonna be taking a look at basically what is actually going on in YouTube regarding the Gotham Knights, and what people are saying regarding the Denuvo. And first of all, I will like to clarify you that there is a channel named Overlord Gaming. He did a magnificent comparison between the games which have Denuvo and which do not have Denuvo. Basically, he has compared the game after getting pirated, after getting cracked, after the Denuvo code was removed, and the game which was launched with Denuvo. So let's search over here, and let's quickly react to it, that how much difference Denuvo make. So he has made a video, he has made literally a whole lot of videos. I'm gonna be linking the videos down, and he has made this: does Denuvo slow the game performance down? 7 games benchmarked before and after they dropped Denuvo. So there are two things guys: either the company drops Denuvo after a specific period of time, 2, either a company just does not drop Denuvo and a specific third-party hacker or cracker cracks the Denuvo code, hacks the Denuvo code, throws it out of the game, and then release to the public, basically pirating it. Let's quickly see and react to it, whether Denuvo actually makes a difference or not, and is Denuvo getting pirated, how it is getting pirated.
Denuvo slow game performance. In October 2017, Joker Productions tried to find out by benchmarking Middle-earth Shadow of War, which...
So here he is just telling about basically whether the Denuvo removal actually hampers the performance or not. So let's quickly see, and let's quickly react to it.
had just been cracked less than 24 hours after its release. However, his methodology was flawed as he compared the retail version and no significant.
So a whole lot of games were compared basically, and here he has literally showing you that how much of a difference it makes. So you can clearly see guys, the minimum FPS were 89, and let me just quickly stabilize it. Okay, fine. So as you can see, the left one is basically the Denuvo plus Steam executable, and the right one is no Denuvo or no Steam, basically the cracked version. We can see that the difference basically is not much over here in games. As I've already told you guys, if a specific game comes optimized with Denuvo, there might not be a whole lot of difference, but with the newer versions of Denuvo, the games tend to actually have a whole lot of difference. And let's quickly go over here and let's see what's actually going here.
0.9 milliseconds after the removal, though the maximum frame time rose from 62 to 70 milliseconds. On to our next test, Mass Effect Andromeda, which removed Denuvo back in July 2017 with patch 1.09. As with Hitman, we were fortunate.
As we have seen guys, as this dude is telling all of us that companies tend to remove Denuvo with several patches. Basically, if the performance of the game is just getting hampered too much, they might ultimately remove Denuvo.
Enough to benchmark the game right before and after Denuvo's removal. Again, on the left is a game running with Denuvo.
Guys, here is the major difference. You can see the minimum FPS on the left, which is 46 in the Denuvo version, but in the non-Denuvo version, the Denuvo free executable version, you can see the clear difference that 67 FPS are being literally pushed in this game. So literally guys, a whole lot of difference is there in Denuvo and non-Denuvo games.
On the right is a game right after Denuvo was removed. This is the first case where we see notable improvement in performance. The average frame rate sees an incremental improvement from 89 to 92, but the minimum frame rate sees a massive jump from 46 to 67.
We cannot expect playing at 40 frames per second if we have paid for a specific game and we have a decent enough hardware. But on the other hand, if a Denuvo game, if the Denuvo is incorporated in a game, we can see some FPS drops. We might think that our hardware is getting outdated, but the real culprit behind is Denuvo. On the other hand, we can see that the minimum FPS are reaching 67 only in this game, and the average FPS were 92. So there is a significant difference, guys.
This improvement is huge as the game now stays comfortably above 60 frames per second at all times, which greatly improves how smooth the game feels to play. Frame times measured an average of 11.14 milliseconds before Denuvo was removed, and an average of 10.84 milliseconds after the removal. Let's move on to Mad Max, a peculiar case in our analysis as Denuvo was never removed from the original Steam version.
So here is the game, guys. Here is Mad Max. When this game was launched, it was literally getting a whole lot of support. It was getting a whole lot of appreciation by gamers. But on the other hand, this game had Denuvo. So it was never removed by the company. And let's see whether the performance was impacted in this game or not.
The game was later released on EA's Origin platform without Denuvo. So we now have a game that both has and doesn't have Denuvo depending on where you bought it. We acquired both versions for this test and we copied the settings file from Steam to Origin to ensure we benchmark the same settings on both versions.
So this is the most fair comparison. So this dude is telling that on the Steam the game was released with Denuvo and the Denuvo was never removed from there. But the same game was available on one another site officially. So they have downloaded both of the games, applied the same settings and then benchmarked the games.
Our test run lasted 8 minutes and involved the completion of a side quest to destroy an oil pump. This sequence covered a variety of gameplay situations including driving to the objective, taking out its perimeter defenses with vehicular weapons, fighting defenders in melee combat and blowing stuff up with explosives. As before, on the left is the game with Denuvo. On the right is the game on Origin without Denuvo. As you can see by the minimum and average frame rates, the game does not run any faster in the version without Denuvo. In fact, it looks like the game's running a tad slower with Origin, performing on average 5 frames per second slower than the Steam version. It is not clear what is causing this. Perhaps Origin wasn't implemented as well as Steam was. At this point, we should probably talk about the hardware this benchmark is running on. We've got a 1080 Ti to eliminate any GPU.
So as we have seen in this particular game, there was no major difference in Denuvo. So that's how Denuvo works. It is just unpredictable whether it would hamper the performance of a game or not. In fact, the game without Denuvo this time was literally having some sort of low FPS.
Bottlenecks, though we do have a second generation i7 at stock clocks. Rate of 54 outdoors, with an average of 72 frames per second. Once we were inside the tunnel, the game saw a dramatic rise in performance with minimum frame rates jumping to 144 and the average frame rates. We never once dropped below 60 frames per second indoors or outdoors, with the average frame rate outdoors rising to 79 frames per second. Overall though, the entire sequence averaged a frame rate of 166 frames per second, a negligible difference well within them.
So as we have seen, some of the games literally do not have any difference in the performance basically. But the Denuvo is all over considered as a CPU heavy tool, a CPU heavy DRM, which is basically considered to be hampering the overall performance. And now let's quickly check a few more updates regarding Gotham Knights. So basically guys, Gotham Knights is here and officially the game will gonna be launching on 21st of October. A whole lot of information is disclosed by the company itself in recent days, and we have now new trailers, new gameplay walkthroughs being uploaded on YouTube officially. But the company is still asking all of us to pre-purchase the game, and they are also asking us to basically pre-purchase it without even knowing the system requirements. So let's go to the Steam news, and there are unfortunately no new updates about this game as of now. But if I just go here and check other games, basically we have new updates. We have a new fresh PC trailer of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Yes, we finally have it. They are also now telling us that this game is protected by a new anti-cheat engine. Although we have seen this anti-cheat engine getting exploited in the open betas of Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2 is also coming. So we all gamers hope that the anti-cheat engine is patched basically when the game comes out for the public. If the game comes out like this when it was just like during the times of the beta release, we might be disappointed because we have seen that the anti-cheat engine was exploited. It was hacked. There were some hackers in the Modern Warfare 2. So let's hope guys basically that it does not have any sort of bullshit things, and I think this should be pretty much it for this live session. I hope you guys have liked it, and make sure to like, comment and subscribe. We will be seeing you